Hi guys. So, as many of you have noticed, I haven't posted a video in probably a couple months. And nothing, thank God, nothing has happened to any of my family members. It's just been a really trying time on this farm. I thought I had it all figured out. I've done all the research on what to do and what not to do. I haven't listened to a lot of the advice that many of the homesteaders tell you. My chickens are all free range. This is the first thing that happened. My chickens are all free range, and they just kind of go wherever they want. And everybody tells me you're supposed to be careful about your garden because chickens like to eat things in your garden. Well, I had that garden out back, as you know, with like the lettuce and the peas and stuff like that, and the chickens never got into it, so I didn't find any concern. So late June, early July, my strawberries came in. I think it was July 3rd. My strawberries came in. They were big and beautiful and bountiful and plentiful, and they were just gorgeous, right? So I was planning on picking them all that night. And I picked 2 or 3 off the vine, yum, 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 eat up. The next day, I had planned on taking the kids out and harvesting our strawberries. And when we went out there were none. Not one. Not one. I was assuming it was rabbits because we have wild rabbits. And what do you do about wild rabbits besides putting a fence up and having to protect them? Hi, Daisy girl. And then the second thing happened. My tomatoes are huge. My tomato plants are huge. My tomatoes were growing. I started getting these little cherry-sized green balls, and I was so excited. And then they started disappearing. Plants were healthy. What's going on? I couldn't figure it out. I found another plant that had some pretty little green balls on it, and they disappeared. And it wasn't until about 2 or 3 weeks that I realized my chickens were actually in my tomato plants eating my tomatoes. At that point, I was just like, I give up. I throw out my hands. The corn, I don't think we're going to get any corn, which I knew we weren't. It was just an experiment. I got them planted way too late. I think I planted them the second week of June, or the first week of June, but I should have planted them probably May 17th, around there, along with the squash. There's a new addition. I didn't even get my beans put out there because I was so frustrated at this point. It was so hard for me. This is my first year. It's John's first year. It's everyone's first year in the homestead, trying to get things figured out, and we're trying to put more focus on the animals and keeping the animals healthy. The goats have done great since the last time I talked to you guys. They're back to, their parasite levels are down, and they're doing great. But the garden didn't produce as much as I wanted because of my own fault. I should have made a coop for the chickens and made sure they had a chicken run and planted some tomatoes in there that they could snack on, stuff like that. And I hope I don't cry, last week Thursday, today is Monday, last week Thursday or Wednesday, my husband called me. I was staying with my mother helping her move, and my husband called me and told me I can only find 8 chickens. And I said, what? He goes, Jana, I've been looking and I cannot find our chickens. I can't find them anywhere. So I left my mom's house, which is about a 20-minute drive, and drove home. And we looked and looked and looked. And then the first evidence that we found was we found Betty. She is my my Midnight Majesty Moran, the only one I had, out in the middle of the field. Nothing but feathers and 2 little bones. There's no evidence on what happened to the other chickens. We had 28. We had to put Edith down. She was prolapsed and suffering, so we put her down a long time ago. And that was hard for me too because she was my Edith. We all know how much Sue loves Edith. Anyway, we couldn't find the chickens. Alexa walked around. John found 6. He found 6 chickens. Alexa walked around. She found 2 more. And then we ended up finding 10 in total. I have 10 girls left out of the 28 females that I had. And we found Sue. And Sue was very, very badly hurt. We're still not sure what did it, but the one thing that I took pride on is in our barn, we leave the radio running 24/7. And somehow the radio got unplugged while I was gone. So we think in somehow, some way, it was the night that John stayed the night at my mom's with me. We were kind of doing a little camping thing. And I think that somehow the radio got unplugged and we got a fox, or maybe a fox mama and some babies. But to take out 18 chickens, it really, that hurt us hard. It hurt me hard. These are our babies, as anyone would know. We have the original 6, aside from Edith, and, well, the original 8, aside from Edith. We're missing Heather. She was the Wyandotte. We are missing all of the babies, aside from 3 of the black Coco Morans. I have 1 light Brahma and 1 of the baby Americanas. I had 2, and then we had 4 of the big Americanas. The 4 big ones are gone. Our Riley the rooster, he was my rooster Americana, the beautiful silver and purple, and yeah, he's gone too. So it was hard. It was very hard. I'm thankful they didn't get the goats, but it was a huge lesson for us to learn. And in addition, we ended up getting a big, huge, beautiful, we call him Gabriel. He is going to be our little protector from here on out. Sue is doing a lot better. We keep him excluded from the girls because we're afraid that they'll peck him. I think what happened in this barn because the chickens, it takes me about an hour and a half to wrangle the chickens up and get them in the barn at night. And usually either they're already in here or they will come with the shaker, and I just yell chicky chicky and they come. They're not laying in their nesting boxes anymore. They're actually laying eggs throughout the yard. They never ever did that before. Their nesting boxes are over here, and there's not one in there. So we plopped some grass up here, and that's where they've been laying. So that's an adventure. Hi, Gabe. It's just been rough. It's been rough. At points, I was just like, I give up. I'm done. I'm checking out. I'm going to love on my goats and the remaining chickens I have, and then I'm just not going to give a crap about anything. But I did end up going out on the tomato plants that just started to fruit. They're a little bit late. I'm pretty sure they're all like cherry tomatoes, but they're the pink Vernacciage. I hope I'm saying that right. Tomatoes. That's pretty much all we have left that will fruit this year. So I put some horse manure on them. So here's hoping that we'll get something this year. We did get a lot of peas. My kids ate them all, however. So I didn't get to harvest, or I didn't get to can any of them. And I thought about going to the store because mangoes are on sale right now. They're only 59 cents here in northern Michigan. So as you can tell, I legitimately am wearing a sweatshirt in the beginning of August, if that tells you how creepy our weather has been lately. It is so cold at night, you actually have to shut the windows. And I'm a Michigander. Cold is cold. When it drops down to like 51, I'm checking out. Done. So I'm going to take you guys, before the sun comes up, it's about 7 o'clock, I'm going to take you guys for a little tour of what I have, because I haven't done it in about 2 months. And I'm trying to keep these videos as like a little diary on when things started, when they stopped, what issues I had, so I can refer to it next year what to do and what not to do. So Jana, keep your chickens cooped up, dummy. This is, I have to come out here and weed. Literally, you guys, I gave up. These are my strawberry plants. You can't tell what's strawberry and what's weeds. I had 6 rows here, you guys remember? So that's going to take a day of weeding. I lost all of my runners from the goats that escaped one day. And over here, I do have some tassels on my corn. Don't think that they're gonna do anything, but one thing you can do with corn is you tap the tassels together to help them pollinate. But yeah, my squash plants aren't very big, and I'm pretty sure we lost a lot of our sunflowers. I can only see 2, 3. Something came out and ate the sunflowers. But yeah, you just tap the tassels together to make sure they germinate. Whoops, sorry guys. To make sure they germinate. This one here is growing too close to that one. I should have pulled it a long time ago. These ones don't have tassels. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here. I do have some flowers on my squash plants, so that's exciting. The squash was supposed to grow big enough to kill off the weeds, and it didn't. They did not. So again, I haven't really done anything out here. This was a huge mistake. I don't know if I'll plant out in this field again. The soil is not rich. Not like it is up there. In my backyard where I have my big garden, we found evidence of an old barn being there. So the soil up there is just absolutely amazing. Found a tree that I planted and I forgot about. Oh, Lord. So, life lesson number 2, aside from keeping your chickens and goats cooped up 24/7, is don't overdo it. I thought I had it all figured out. I did my research and I'm like, I'm going to have a 10,000 square foot garden. I was planning on doing this entire field. And we had it tilled and nothing got done because I was just over my head. So I should have listened to Jessica Sowards when she said, start small. Start somewhere, but start small. You know, get your experience in. Grasp your bearings. But I wanted to learn all of the different plants and seeds right now. That's what I wanted to learn. This is tomato bed 3, I think. Some of these plants, when we were looking for the chickens, my loving husband forgot that I had plants here because none of them are staked up. They're all little and they got ran over. So what I did have of a tomato plant is Squish It. So I'll probably rip that guy out and the one next to him because they're pretty much dead. Here's another plant that I have. There's a little baby bug on it. The mosquitoes out here are just absolutely ruthless. And there's a Bob. Say hi, Bob. I forgot to put bug spray on before I came out. They're eating me alive. All these tomato plants, you guys, are really small. But I planted them. I don't know if you can see, I'm sorry. I planted them really, really deep. These plants were probably, I'm going to say about 24 to 36 inches when I planted them. And I pruned them all the way up to the last Y. So they're set in the ground about 2 foot, some 3 foot. They're bigger. And I do have a lot more tomatoes over here than I thought I did. You're not supposed to touch plants early in the morning. because you'll give them blight. But I do have some that have, each one of these plants over here have 2. That one has 4. I think most of them have 2. But these are just the little guys. And then I ripped out the beets. We harvested our beets that came up. And the peas were done, so I ripped those out. This bed is just waiting, basically, because I have my basil that went to flower. And I have some seeds that I could pick off of there. My lettuce needs to get pulled out, as you can tell. And I have some more carrots down there. And then my rhubarb got eaten by my goats. And the potato plants are not happy. So I need to come out here and do probably 3 or 4 days worth of weeding. Borage looks amazing. Those are all borage plants. The ones on the right hand side are my tomatoes. And then we have a row of strawberries that you cannot see. Cheers. This is what happens when you get in over your head. These are my plants that I had that were massive and huge. And they're all really sad because they didn't get much water. Not enough water while I was gone. But the tomato plants are growing and they're beautiful. The tomatoes. My, is it kiwi? My kiwi plants are doing good. Those will get up to 19 to 20 feet tall when they're mature. I think it takes about 4 years to see fruit. Don't quote me on that, it might be 2. Look at this tomato plant. This is my beauty. This is my prize, you guys. And this is the one the chickens loved best. But she has 4 tomatoes, 5 tomatoes right here. I don't know if you can see them. And then I have flowers everywhere. There's probably 8 flowers there. There's 5 flowers there. There's a tomato growing there, and there. There's another 6 or 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 growing here with 2 more, 3 more growing. I mean, they're everywhere. I have flowers all over this one. This one was my experiment plant, okay? So what I did with him was I kept trimming him, pruning him on the bottoms, and then transplant him. As soon as I pruned him, I transplant him. I think the first time he got transplanted was at 3 weeks old. I took was it 3 or 4? But I took the 2 bottom stems. They get their true leaves, and then they grow 2 more stems. I took the bottom 2, and pruned them off, and then I transplanted them as soon as I pruned them. And then another 4 weeks or 3 weeks, I would do that again. I pruned the bottom off. Get. I have chickens. I would prune the bottoms. This one got transplanted 4 times. Not transplanted, repotted 4 times. The other ones did not. They got repotted twice. And they all got potted or planted out here with an egg in the bottom. And then when they started getting tomatoes on them, I had the kids come out and put 3 scoops of horse manure. But as you can tell, there's this guy that stands about this tall, so he's about normal. He's about the same as everybody else's. This guy probably would stand about this tall. So there's a huge difference in the 2 plants. This one over here is up here. This one here is down here. He needs to be staked up. I'm neglecting my plants. But they look great. I just have to keep the chickens out of them so I can have some tomatoes. So I think I've learned tomatoes. I have tomatoes down. I have peas down. I definitely have lettuce down because that was our biggest harvest, was our lettuce. Basil, not so much. which basil is supposed to be one of the easier ones, but I feel like my basil plant should have gotten a lot bigger. So that's something we're going to play with next year. My potatoes, I pulled up one of my potato plants to see if it was done, and I had a red skin potato that was probably the size of my fist, and then I had a little itty baby one. So yeah, my grapes are doing good. My apple tree's doing good. I was worried about the fruit. Some of them the bugs got to. John and I need to do some research and figure out what's going on with those. But these guys, I think I'll try to give another week or so. They're all blushing. I think they're just crab apples. I'm not 100%. They look and taste, they actually taste like Macintosh apples. And Macintosh is a Michigan apple, so it makes me wonder if they are Macintosh. But the bugs got them. You guys see that? My grand plan was making applesauce. My kids love applesauce. They would eat it by the gallon jar by the day. They love applesauce like they love peas. We got so many peas this year, it was unbelievable. But that's the gist of today. Nothing, or this month I should say, nothing else is really new aside from organizing, cleaning, and moving. Because we moved out of here in October and my parents moved into our old house. So we have to clean out their old house so we can sell it. My mother's massive, massive craft room is coming to my house. So I'm really excited about that. I'm trying to make room for it. She has pretty much every craft that you could possibly imagine. I have a brand new Cricut in a box. Has never been opened. That's coming here. So I'm excited about that. I'm hoping that they'll move close by so that I can go pick her up and we can do crafts. But the house that she's in now is just not big enough for her to have a craft room. So I'm going to hold on to her stuff for her. Thanks, Mom. But yes, it's really sad when you're used to a whole gaggle of chickens following you everywhere, and then you look behind you and there's no one. There's no one. There's no one left. There's the original, I call them the original 6 minus 1. So I have 5 of my original girls. I have Red and Gail, and we have Hedwig and Widow and Veronica out of the original 8. Oh, and Sue. Poor Sue. Everybody keeps telling me I should put him down, but he's a kicker. He's kicking it. Hi, Sue. Susie Goo. Hi, Sue. You guys see him? I don't know if you can see him. He's in here. Susie Goo. Hi, Sue. I need to get him some food and water. And do my chores. Yeah. But that is my rant for the day. 23 minutes to tell you what all has happened. I think I always get ahead of myself with my chores, but I think we're going to end up moving the animals in the back because it's right next to our window. And I'm noticing tracks coming in from the road out front. So that, and I think it would be easier for everybody in the long run. We'll move the garden on the side where the goat pen is now, possibly. I have to see how my husband feels about that, because that's a whole nother weekend of chores and digging up posts that are already set in the ground 3 feet. So if that tells you anything, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. Right, Bubby? We picked that cute little thing up off the side of the road by the garbage. So I will let you guys go. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient with me. From here on out, I will try really hard to post more videos on what's going on.